This is kind of an interesting pattern. It kind of, I don't know, sneaks up on you a little bit, you might say. Most of the patterns that I found looking at charts because I thought I noticed something. This one, it took me a while to find. It's kind of hidden, I think. But for a buy, I'm looking for a market to take out the, it has to take out the low of the day before it, and then the next bar not take out. It'd probably make more sense if we look at page 16 in your manual. And I'm just going to kind of redo what's on the manual there so you can see what I'm talking about. This is just the day that we're basing things on. The next day goes higher. Okay, this is the important part of it, that it goes higher than the day before it.
Just the range or the close?
The ultimate high or low, not the close. In this case, I'm not looking at the close here. In fact, I'm sure this isn't going to stand up clearly that way. I was going to do the sell signal. I'll do the buy signal instead. What I'm looking for is actually a day that goes lower for a buy, goes lower than the day before it, and then the day following this day that makes the low, the next day has a higher low. Now, I'm drawing this as an inside day. It doesn't have to be an inside day. It could continue up to here. You know, I don't care. What I'm interested in is for this little kind of V-shaped pattern to set up here. I'm looking to trade this day. Okay, this is the day I really want to trade here. This day is open. And what I really want is for the previous day to have a higher low than the day before it, but this one has to be a lower low than the day before it. And if that's true, and we open below this day's close, that's where I'm looking to buy it. Okay, I'm afraid I might lose you a little bit there because, like I said, this one isn't an obvious pattern. It's not something that just jumped out at me on a chart. But is everybody following me, though? I don't care where this day closes. I don't care where the high is. All I care is that the low is higher than the previous low, and this low is lower than the low before it. Okay? Then if the next day opens below that close, that's where I'm looking to buy it. Okay? Does that glaze everybody over, or are you with me? Yes, sir.
I just want to confirm that on all these trades that you're talking about now, once you've entered the trade, it's triggered. You're saying that your exit is always market on call?
Yes, sir. For these particular trades in the VOLPAT system.
There is no stop loss?
Well, yes, there is. There is a stop loss. He asked me how I'm handling the trades once I get into them. There are two possibilities, and once I go through all the patterns, I'll show you how they kind of all fit together. But at least at minimum, you would have a volatility factor for a sell. Let's say this pattern sets up and you're looking to buy it. Okay, you would also, when we put the system together, the volatility and the patterns, you would also have a volatility sell. Maybe you have a pattern sell too, but you at least have a volatility sell. So there would always be the other side of the trade. And what I did was use the other side of the trade as the stop. Okay? It could be a pattern sets up in the other direction, or it could be the volatility, but there was always another side of the trade, at least because of the volatility. So I would take whichever entry occurred first, whether it was on the buy side or the sell side, and then use the other one as the stop loss. And assuming I wasn't stopped out, exit the position, market on close.
Well, it sounds like those could be pretty consistently a full day range then as your top one.
Could be. And again, you have to understand the perspective of how big this could be. This was designed when 300 and 400 points was large for the S&P. You know, it made sense at the time. It didn't seem like it was terribly risky. Now, when you're looking at 30 or 40 point ranges some days, wow. You know, I'm not suggesting that this is something you should run out and start putting orders in on tomorrow, although it does seem to keep working. You know, it keeps showing up in the Futures Truth rankings as being one of the best systems out there. I'm showing it to you mainly to show you where I started and how I got to what I'm doing now, and I want you to understand how the things functioned originally, so maybe you can see how I've changed them and what I'm looking for now. But the specific answer to your question, the other side of the trade, whatever it might be, was my stop loss, and the exit was market on close. What it wound up doing is the system as a whole was not terribly accurate. It was maybe 54, 55% accurate, but the average win was a fair amount bigger than the average loss. And I just ran a test on this for the last 13 years, assuming I have this programmed right now, and I'm not sure I do, but it made, even if you take $100 out of every trade, it made $500,000 over the last 15 years in the S&P. Now, it was a pretty substantial drawdown at one point, about almost $40,000 drawdown. So again, it's not something I'd suggest you trade, but the fact that it makes that much money, hopefully there's still something worthwhile there. So everybody understand how the buy signal occurs? And the opposite would be true of a sell. All I really care about is the highs, okay? And then wherever this one closed, we'd have to open above that in order for that to be a sell signal. Okay? It's kind of a sneaky little pattern. It's just you know, certain things on charts jump out at me. This one really didn't. But it's amazingly powerful. What I found that actually when this thing sets up, it works between 58 and 60% of the time in the S&P anyway. And I think I can show you one of these on here also. Would be that day. Right. That's where we have, okay. This is on, maybe I should move this over. It's a little bit scrunched up there. Okay, the trade actually occurs on that day right there that I have the cursor on now. I'll take it off so it's not so goofy. What we have here is the pattern 2 trade. This bar goes lower than this bar. This bar makes a higher low than this bar. And again, I don't care about the relationship of the closes in this pattern. We have the lower low here, and then again a higher low, so we've got that little V pattern. And then this day opened below that day's close. So that's where I'm buying it that day and getting out on close there.